scores again.
And Rhiannon Marshall scores. York hit back.
Ball back on the inside again as Kira Bennett just sidesteps her way in. York collects it. Chance for Partington. Gets it down. What a kick from Faye Gaskin. That is world class. Look what it means to them. Banks with a sidestep. And her again. This is mesmerising stuff from the Wigan Warriors.
We know we've got the two best teams from the competition.
The history makers, the first women's team to retain their title.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the Totally Wicked Stadium as we continue our coverage of the Betfred Women's Super League here on the Sportsman. And what a cracker we've got in store for you this lunchtime. York Valkyrie making the trip here to take on St Helens. First place third in the table. A big game as we get ever closer to the playoffs. Alongside me for this one, Leeds Rhinos, Caitlin Beavers. Caitlin, everyone's beaten everyone in this kind of group at the top four. It makes these games very unpredictable and very exciting, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. In the previous years, as you said, it's been the top four, but then the dominant two. I think it's really good that it's been the top four which are dominant, but there's so many more teams now coming from the lower tiers and fighting their way back up. So these kind of games are the games that you want to play in. And
with playoffs on the horizon, I guess both teams will be using this as an opportunity to try and get up to that intensity and get up to that speed ahead of, knockout football and grand finals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that York will come into this feeling very confident with their win over Wigan last week, and I think St Helens will have something to prove given that they've been beaten by them quite a few times now, so it should be a really exciting match.
Yeah, but just touch on that York win against Wigan last week. Surprised a few people. Obviously, Wigan have been the team to beat this year. Can that go one or two ways? Can York either get a little bit complacent, or will they use that as kind of the blueprint to go and do it again?
I don't think that Lindsay will allow them to get complacent, to be fair. She's very direct with her means and ways that she wishes the team to play. I think they should come into this game with a bit more confidence, because what they displayed last week seems to have done the job really well against Wigan, who are at the top at the moment. So I think that Saints will have the same message as well, to make sure that they come out there and probably knock York off their pedestal. They'll probably be thinking that they have.
Well, we're getting ever closer to kick-off here at St Helens. Let's hear from the head coaches, Derek Hartman from Saints and York's Lindsay Anfield. Derek, thank you for joining us. Big game this in the context of that league table. Obviously sitting top at the moment, but the heat's really on underneath you.
Yeah, definitely. This is what we've been looking for at the end of the season. We looked at these fixtures and we knew now we'd have a tough run in to the semis. So yeah, and this is the challenge that we're ready for. As part of our spite, hopefully we can carry on with that trajectory.
How important is it that you've got a game like this with the semi-finals on the horizon? Obviously it's a big game in terms of league points, but it's kind of a perfect practice as well for what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a big couple of weeks coming up. We've got York and we've got Wigan, so leading into the semis, so they're tough games, and hopefully they'll put us in a good stead for them playoffs.
It looks like you're finally hitting some sort of squad consistency as well after an up and down year.
Yeah, we've had a difficult year to rotation, but that's what having a squad's all about. And everybody who's come in has done a great job, so they're giving us a few headaches in selection, but that's what it's all about.
In terms of preparation for this, obviously a big win for you guys last time out against Barrow. York, very different, tough win against Wigan. They'll be full of confidence. Does it benefit either side, the kind of different run-ins to this game?
I'm not sure. I think there's enough competition between us and York in the past, what keeps the competition going, and that'll be no different today. I think it's irrelevant what happens week on week. I think this week is a big game for both teams, and one they both want to win.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's the second kind of big game against a top four team in a row, but you must have taken so much confidence from the performance and the win last time out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We had a big spell where we didn't play any of the top four. We had a good 8-week build-up to the Wigan game, and we knew that was the game that could change our season. And, we had a good game. The girls performed excellently, but we've just said today, look, don't fall in love with that performance. Don't fall in love with yourselves. You've got to do it again today. So, job sort of half done. We got beat by them both at the beginning of the season. So we've just got to do it again today.
Does it help you, though, coming into a game like this, sort of battle-hardened and having had a game at that intensity last week, rather than perhaps if it had been a bigger scoreline?
Yeah, no, it does massively. They know, what it looks like, how it feels to put on that sort of a performance, and the task now is can they repeat that effort today?
You mentioned losing to Wigan and Saints earlier on in the season. I suppose this is the time to start beating those teams and start hitting that form. Have you spoken about that kind of running now towards the end of the year?
Yeah, no, we do, and you know, we weren't particularly good in the Challenge Cup, but you know, we speak about peaking at the right time, and it's got to come now. If it's ever going to come, it's got to come now. So it'll be interesting for me and my staff to see how the players respond today.
It's quite an interesting sort of rivalry built up between these two teams in the last few years because you've played each other in so many big games. Does this have a different feel to it because it's St Helens?
Yeah, I've just said to Deck, it's like a home game for us now. We've played here that many times, but no, it's a great stadium. You know, we've kind of got used to the trek over. We know the layout of the changing rooms and stuff. So no, it's great, and you know, it's always going to be a good game. And for me, that's the most important thing. You know, win or lose, it's got to be a good spectacle for the women's game.
Yeah, big game on the menu this lunchtime. We'll have a look at how the home team line up. St Helens, top of the tree at the moment. Will they still be there in a couple of hours' time? They start off with Rebecca Rotherham at fullback. Phoebe Hook and Danny McGifford are the wing pairing, and inside them, Lucy McComb and Rachel Woozy in the centres. Zoe Harris is joined by a familiar face, Faye Gaskin in the halves, playing behind a pack fronted up by Darcy Stott, Shani Kroll, Katie Mottershead in the front row. Behind them, Shona Hoyle and Emily Rudge, with the pack locked in by the St Helens and England captain Jodie Cunningham. Coming off the bench for the home side this afternoon, Caitlin Casey, Vicky Whitfield, Erin McDonald and Naomi Williams will provide the reinforcements. For the visitors, the York Valkyrie, of course, bounce into this game after a huge win against Wigan last time out, looking to go back-to-back against top four opposition. They start off with former Saints outside back, Ebony Partington at fullback. Lakura Peace and Emma Kershaw are the wing pairing, and Lisa Parker and Tara Moxon inside them in the centres. Georgie Dagger joins Tamsin Renouf in the halves, with Olivia Wood, Sinead Peach and Isabel Brennan making up the front row. Savannah Andrade and Evie Sexton slot in behind them in the second row, with Agnes Wood completing the starting lineup for the Valkyrie. And coming off the bench for the visitors, Ellie Williamson, Isabel Bibby, Zoe Hornby and Rhiannon Marshall. So two big Betfred Women's Super League points on. There will be a game around available for you to watch between us here on the Sportsman and our friends at Sky Sports. Alongside me to bring you this one, Leeds Rhinos and England international Caitlin Beavers. Caitlin, it's all getting very fun, isn't it, at the top of the table?
Yeah, absolutely. The teams at the top of the table are getting quite giddy. I think that the win over Wigan that York had the other day kind of breaks up the Wigan being at the top of the table. So we're looking forward to seeing how this game goes.
Yes, St Helens currently first in the Betfred Women's Super League. 9 wins, 2 draws, both of those live on the Sportsman. So who knows, it could be 3 from 3 this afternoon. And the York Valkyrie, 9 wins as well, but 2 defeats to their name, putting them down into third. But of course, a rematch of last season's grand final. It was the Valkyrie that came out on top of this occasion, and we mentioned it before the game that there's a bit of a derby feel to this game, even though they're obviously not close to each other geographically. There's plenty on the line here.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what comes with the top four. We're getting towards the business end of the season, and you can really tell it with the last few games. And for the top four, it's actually quite a few hard games towards the end of the season, which tees up nicely to the playoffs. So, yeah, the top four are definitely doing the job this season.
We spoke to both coaches about availability, squad availability today. St Helens able to welcome a few players back, but interestingly, Rebecca Rotherham in at fullback, Verissa Healy dropping out. I'm sure there'll be a few high kicks going in early to try and put her under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, definitely. You have a look at both sides, and both fullbacks that aren't their preferred starting fullbacks. I think it's really interesting to see how they've mixed up the teams and brought them back in. Rebecca Rotherham, she's been a name since the Super League started, so it's good seeing her getting game time, and hopefully she does well with the ball today.
Good crowd building up below us here on this near side here at the Totally Wicked Stadium as we build up to this lunchtime kickoff. Moments away from the action. Great to have you with us here on the Sportsman. Every game that we've brought you from the Betfred Women's Super League this year has delivered. I'm sure this one will be exactly the same. Last time these two sides met, York fell to a 12-16 to defeat to St Helens. I'm sure they'd fancy a reverse of that to back up that win against Wigan last time around. But we talk about the top four, and it feels fairly set in terms of who's going to be in those semi-finals, Caitlin. But who's going to play at home? It's quite significant, really, isn't it? That difference between second and third is quite big.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the place where everyone wants to be. They want to be at home, and especially for the bigger games towards the end of the season, the playoff games are the games that people want to play in, and if you can have the home advantage, the crowd's on your side, it's definitely a massive factor going into those kind of games.
And just having a look at a few of the matchups today, it's interesting looking at the half-back pairings. The shirt numbers alone tell a story. That's settled 6 and 7, Zoe Harris and Faye Gaskin for Saints, against Georgie Dagger and Tamsin Renouf, just both playing slightly out of preferred positions, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that York have done it tough this season with injuries, so the typical half-backs would be Liv Gale as well as...
well, Sadra Hari would be the sixth, wouldn't she?
They've had quite a few problems with people leaving this season, and I think that you can definitely tell that with the actual starting lineup. None of the numbers are typically where they would be. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the halfbacks pair up today and whether there'd be much movement across the field. And
some big names missing as well for both teams. To talk about Tara Jane Stanley, who we've not seen this season, still coming back from a long-term knee injury, and then Amy Hardcastle for Saints as well. Missing from that side. There's a lot of talent on the bench, but opportunities for players to step up.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about the big games there, big names there that are your international players. I think when we look at the benches here, when you were reading them out, I was actually quite impressed. York's bench, and you've got Izzy Bibby, who is just so quick and dynamic around the ruck. Rhiannon Marshall, Zoe Hornby, some of the strongest forwards in the league, and Ellen Williamson can come round and pass that ball about. So I think that the bench for York will be very threatening today.
And of course, from a St Helens perspective, it's not bad to be able to roll Vicky Whitfield and Caitlin Casey and players like Naomi Williams on when you get 20-25 minutes into a game, is it?
Absolutely. I've seen Vicky play so many times this season, and she never fails to impress. She is so quick for such a strong player, and I think it's only the start of what is a fantastic international career at the moment. So I'm excited to see what she can do. Some tired bodies in the middle of the park, and same with Caitlin Casey, originally a halfback, so she'll be good looking to get that ball moving.
England head coach Stu Barrow just in your shot there. I'm sure he'll be watching on with interest this afternoon. England have just been in action recently against Wales. Of course, there is a World Cup on the horizon. There's plenty of players out there today that will be looking to work their way into his plans for the next 12 months, 12 and a bit months. As we continue to await the teams from the tunnel below us here. Just clouded over a little bit in the last 20 minutes, half an hour here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. But that pitch, you could play snooker on it. It is an absolute carpet below us. Dry day at the moment. A little bit of rain in the forecast perhaps later on. But at the moment, absolutely no excuses for anything other than a hard, fast game of rugby league football. As the teams emerge below us, Sinead Peet and Jodie Cunningham, two former women of steel, leading their sides out. So much talent spread across both lineups. Game winners in both teams. But the first job on the agenda for both sides will be to start well. And when you are in a game like this that you expect to be close, that you expect to be going right up to the wire, at risk of saying something obvious, it's so important to start well, isn't it?
You've just taken the words out of my mouth. I think both teams will have been given the task today to make sure that the first 10 minutes are high completion, dominating that ruck. I think this first 10 minutes can dictate the game.
So Faye Gaskin puts the ball on the tee, on kicking duties, of course, this afternoon for Saints. Such a useful weapon to have in their lineup. Points off the boot. But her first job is to get us underway here in the Betfred Women's Super League. York will get first taste of possession and straight away up to the 30-metre mark. Sinead Peet drifts into dummy half, and as you've just touched on, Caitlin, I would expect these opening sets to be kept relatively tight within the tram lines and just try and feel each other out a little bit, work themselves into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Liv Wood's first carry was absolutely immense, and that's what you want to start off the game, especially from a backline carry. So well done to Liv there.
So York working their way up towards the halfway line. Savannah Andrade with the carry, just forced back a couple of metres short of the centre line. Peet in at dummy half again, brings us out to the left-hand side. Cunningham and Crowell in there to make the tackle for St Helens. This is the last, so some decent metres made from a York perspective, but we're looking for a good kick here to try and pin Saints in. Comes out to the left-hand side. Phoebe Hook takes it on the full. She'll look to return from interest. The Saints get their first set of the afternoon underway. Zoe Harrison at acting half. She'll bring us out to the left-hand side, and much as we've just seen from York, Saints early indications are that they'll just keep things tight for the time being as Cunningham keeps the ball herself, brings it up to the line just short of halfway. Mottershead in the scrum cap at dummy half. She brings it out to Gaskin. Saints now just looking to apply a little bit of width as Rotherham looks to step through the line, brought down just short of the 40, but Saints making decent progress up that left-hand side. Short ball from Gaskin to Shani Crowell, who's met by 4 York defenders, forced back. No progress there, and the kick will come from just inside the York half. Harris puts boot to ball, looks to try and turn Kershaw. And Partington around, just takes a few bounces. Partington eventually does pick it up, but early indications for both teams, well, they'll be pleased with the start that they've made. Yeah,
absolutely. I think both teams did really well at dominating the ruck at most times. They made sure that they pushed back a lot. I think that first start from Ebony Partington probably wasn't the best, and she won't be very happy with that, so she'll make sure that she'll get under the next one.
Well, Peace Lakuru playing the ball there. What a story she is, from Uganda, brought over by the York Valkyrie after identifying her playing out there. Some of their foundation work that they're doing across the world. And now starring in the Betfred Women's Super League. Here's Peach at dummy half. Brings us out to the left-hand side. Again, York just keeping it in between those centre tram lines. Hand in the air from the referee, so kick incoming, you would think, and it does. It's again over to this near side. It's going to take a bounce, and Phoebe Hook will just let that go into touch, and perhaps just the first feather in a cap from a St Helens perspective, because they'll be starting in decent field position here.
Yeah, I think that's the problem from York. They've only got Izzy Brennan really that can put foot to ball until Rhiannon Marshall comes on, and that might be where they start to lack in field possession because they're not getting deep enough kicks. And I think for Saints at back 3, it's going to be an easy enough resolution for them.
So back underway. Darcy Stott brings us up towards the halfway line. Mottershead again in at dummy half. Options on both sides. Comes to the shorter edge. And Shona Hoyle will try and muscle her way through. Met well by 3 York Valkyrie defenders. Again, they come short side. Harris up to the line. Almost through, but good defensive effort in the end from York to shut that down. Kershaw making the tackle. Here's Cunningham now bringing us out to the other side. Gaskin thought about the big ball over the top, but just keeps it in hand. She's brought down around 35 metres away. Still tackles in their pocket from a St Helens perspective. Could be into space on this left-hand side, but Peace Makuru does well to stop that in its tracks. This is the last, so out there comes to Gaskin, who puts a tall kick up in the air for Partington to deal with. Brings it in safely, gets away from Harris, and that's a good kick return, isn't it, from Ebony Partington?
Exactly. She certainly learned from the first one, and that's how we usually see Ebony Partington play. So I'm looking forward to her finding her feet a bit more in this game. And I'm seeing that York are getting their backs in. This is going to be a very forward dominant game, so the backs are definitely going to have to step up.
So York again with the job of getting out of their own real estate.
I've just heard a lot there. Go at her, go at her. So I think that Zoe will be a spot player throughout this game.
Well, they've earned themselves a penalty. The Valkyrie Saints just too keen, coming offside, so opportunity to march themselves downfield.
Tapping it. Wait there, please. Tap in.
In fact, they're just going to go for the tap, I think.
This is what I was saying just a few moments ago. I think that York will really struggle without a main kicker on the pitch, and there'll be a lot of weight on Izzy Brennan's shoulders for sure.
Hold. Go on. Chantel, you're not square.
So York again coming up the middle and nearly breaking through the line. Izzy Brennan just brought down after she'd made that initial break. Out they come to Dagger. She'll drop a short ball off to Evie Sexton.
Onside, hold.
Product of the Valkyrie under-19 system. Back to the right-hand side come York, and again a little half break, gets them further upfield. So first real attacking opportunity for either side in this game. York looking to spread things out to the right-hand side. Saints defence level to it this time around. Hand in the air from the referee. This is the last. Peach looks to just stab one through. It's bouncing around all over the place, but I think we're going to come back for a knock on. It will be Saints ball. It will be a turnover as it was on the last, but first opportunity we've seen for either team to put a little bit of pressure on.
Yeah, what I actually liked about York there is they were very flat throughout that whole set, which we usually see York be more dynamic and get it across the field with more shape. But because of the genuine lines of run, they managed to make a few dints in the Saints' defence. I think for Saints, they just need to slow down that ruck and get the numbers right, but I'm looking forward to seeing how they'll get out of this, their 10 here.
Just a few players that's receiving a little bit of treatment in backfield. Delay.
Look, I'll keep talking to you. That's all I'm asking for is to work with me.
Some deep heat going on, perhaps.
Yeah.
And it will be eventually St Helens who do get us back underway. Gaskin and Mottershead in position to get things up and running again.
Zoe, you good? When you're ready for time, back on.
So Saints in the shadow of their own sticks, work to do to get themselves up the field into York territory, and big opportunity this from a Valkyrie perspective to try and pin Saints in and start winning that field position battle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with Saints, they have a very, very good kicking game. They've got two really good halves at kicking. So if they want to keep gaining field position, they need to make sure they restrict the metres coming out of yardage.
So here's Stott, already a few carries to her name. Stopped around 25 metres away. Mottershead jumps out from dummy half, brings us out to the right-hand side to Shona Hoyle, who's stopped just short of the 40. Here's Cunningham. Such a useful option to have, isn't it, when you've got a player like Jodie Cunningham who can run and pass and almost act like an extra pivot at 13.
Yeah, she's very hard to defend against, especially when they've got running threats around her. So if they keep doing that, I'm sure they'll keep making dints.
Another good kick return from Partington, just pins her ears back and fires into that St Helens line, stopped just short of the 30. So York starting this set further upfield as Lakuru comes off her wing to get involved. And again up over the 40. It's been a simple game plan, if you like, so far from a York perspective with ball in hand, but effective again as they work their way into the St Helens half.
Yeah, York are relying on their backs quite a bit when getting out because they know it's going to be a physical contest in the middle, and it's good that they've got the strength to be able to get out and find that space, so they're doing really well with that.
So Peach brings us out to the left-hand side, boots a ball from Izzy Brennan, which just drops in behind Rotherham, who has to track back, takes an awkward bounce as well, so won't go dead. It's ended up being a perfect kick. Rotherham returns back to the 10 where she stopped. But a real result from a York perspective as Phoebe Hook gets on her bike and makes 7 or 8 metres for Saints. She'll play the ball to Zoe Harris, who brings us out to the left-hand side. We're playing a lot of the game to our left in the first 10 minutes. York just doing a good job of pinning St Helens back. No real threat from either side yet, and there is a penalty, just too much going on in the ruck for Ollie Salmon's liking, so a pressure reliever from a Saints perspective, an opportunity to get themselves downfield.
Yeah, I do believe that Saints needed that as well. It was good to see their backs getting in and making sure they get a quick ruck, and that's exactly what happens.
slow.
Well, Gaskin will look for touch, and Saints will get underway just short. In fact, they're going to come back to the 40-metre mark.
Quicker, York, please.
A full set to try and get themselves into an attacking position for the first time this afternoon. Harris brings us out. Shona Hoyle sticks it up the jumper and drives towards the halfway line. She stopped just short. Crowd getting into the game below us as Gaskin plays the ball on the halfway line to Cunningham. Saints moving into Valkyrie territory. Gaskin again. Dummies to Crowell and then gives it to Stott, who stopped just over the 40-metre line. Dead centre, options on both sides of the ruck. Mottershead comes to the right. Harris plays that right up to the line, looks to give the ball to Rotherham, who spilt it. Tara Moxon sweeps up for York, and well, that is a defensive win from a Valkyrie perspective and an opportunity for them to get themselves into attacking real estate.
Yeah.
And a penalty to boot as well, so from a promising Saints position, York now able to put some pressure on.
High tackle. Tap, kick, touch. Tapping it right there, please.
So on the halfway line, Sinead Peach gets us back underway, giving it to Agnes Wood, playing it loose forward this afternoon. Peach with options, left and right, goes right on this occasion. Izzy Brennan carries up over the 40, and then big shot goes in. Emily Rudge introducing herself into the game for the first time this afternoon. Here's Savannah Andrade up over the 30, still going in fact, stopped eventually. And again, it's a relatively flat line, as you pointed out from the York perspective.
It looks like they've got more depth on this left-hand side now, so it should be interesting to see how they use it.
So Peach brings us out to Dagger, show and go, then tries to dart for the line herself. Still going, Dagger. Offload is an option. She looks to try and get the ball away. Eventually, she is wrapped up. But York on the march on the left-hand side. Short ball. Moxon's over the line. Can she get the ball down? It's spilt. I think we're going to come back for a knock-on. Yes, we are.
20-metre restart.
Moxon just trying to get that ball away for Kershaw, unable to do so. And as you say, we're going to come back for a 20-metre restart for St Helens.
We said there, didn't we, that the left side had more depth, and that's what they need to be able to get through. It's unfortunate that Tara couldn't get it down there, but we've got to congratulate the defence. That was brilliant, Dee.
Well, the initial offload from Moxon did go backwards, but ball just bounced and rolled forward, so correct decision from Ollie Salmon to not award the try. First time we've seen either team come close to scoring in the first 13 minutes of this game. And it's this right edge of St Helens that's doing a lot of the work, getting Saints out of their own half as Hoyle plays the ball just short of halfway. Here's Cunningham, she'll keep the ball in hand herself. Good opportunity for this for Saints, having just weathered that storm to try and put something together themselves, and they do come out to the left-hand side, and here goes McGifford, who's got some speed. She stopped on the 20.
It's not often you get to stop Danny McGifford, so very good defence there and tracking back.
No, a former heptathlete before her rugby league days. That looks like it's gone forward off the hands of Tara Moxon. It has. Back to zero is Lucy McComb. So St Helens turn to bang on the York door. Full set of tackles in their hand with which to do so. Short they come to Naomi Williams, who's fresh onto the field. And now Harris, miss out pass to the left-hand side. Again looking for that overlap. York deal with it on this occasion. 8 metres away. Rudge brings us to the right-hand side. Gaskin, flat ball to Shani Crowell, who looked to try and muscle her way over. Made a 100th appearance for St Helens last week. Real stalwart of this team. Here's another one. Harris, that's gone out the back. Rotherham will go back and pounce on it. Still the same set. And now Cunningham wraps round to look and try and create a mismatch, but that ball's gone to ground. And again, it's Tara Moxon who jumps on it. We're going to come back for York ball, so both teams firing a few warning shots on each other's line, unable to turn it into any points.
Yeah, I just don't think that was ever on, and I'm shocked that Jodie actually took the ball through the short side when they had the numbers. Saints are very good when they use the ball and keep moving it. I think that they probably missed a great opportunity there.
Well, maybe just some slight concern from St Helens' perspective there. Zoe Harris stayed down, back on her feet, and looks like she's going to continue, but one to keep an eye on.
For me, she's passed it on the line. She's more than entitled to
and York will get the game back underway 10 metres away from their own line.
I think we're spotting a few tired bodies at the moment. I think that definitely shows the kind of contest that this game's been already.
Well, it's been fast, hasn't it? There's not been a huge amount of stoppages. I know there's been a couple of penalties and knock-ons, but it's been a pretty ruthless first 15 minutes of this game. And should mention the conditions. It's quite warm out there, quite humid. I'm sure that will play a part as the afternoon goes on.
As players, we call it muggy, and it's the worst conditions to play in.
10 metres is really good. Keep it up. Head fully in. Shadeen, head fully in, please.
So York getting us
when you're ready,
back underway, 10 metres away from their own line. Opportunity for St Helens to make a statement here defensively, try and pin the reigning Betfred Women's Super League champions into their own half. Grand final rematch, of course. Saints have beaten York already this season, but you feel like every time they meet each other, it's going to be a revenge mission for the next few years as Mottershead and Cunningham do well defensively to force the Valkyrie back. Here's Andrade looking to move things up towards the 30-metre line. Progress limited, though. Peaching at dummy half. Out they come to the left-hand side. Saints doing a good job here of limiting the progress.
Zoe Hornby just made her way to the field and got a first carry in.
Yeah, some real muscle on both benches. It'll be interesting to see how that comes in to the game.
Oh,
and there she is,
Zoe Hornby
putting boot to ball, got a kicking licence. Not a bad effort either. Rotherham has to go back and bounces relatively kindly for her in the end, so she'll look to return with interest. Big opportunity for her today to pin that full-back shirt down. Phoebe Hook up over the 30 line. She'll play the ball to Gaskin, who just the short ball left to Williams. Looks like Darcy Stott, who's come off the field in place of Williams. She was receiving a little bit of treatment earlier on, so it would suggest that it is perhaps injury related. We'll see if she features any more this afternoon. Mottershead, Gaskin, only the full-back drop, so looks to try and put it left. Partington wise to it. Always an interesting battle, isn't it, when you've got one of your former teammates in a key position like full-back.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like they're definitely testing Ebony today. Might be trying to get into her head, but I think she's been dealing with it very well.
So the Kuru off her wing will play the ball to Dagger, who brings us out to the right-hand side.
Work, hold. 3.
Out we come left again to Hornby, who gets her legs pumping and gets up over halfway.
Onside, hold. Go for.
Dagger in again at dummy half.
I think we're starting to see the fatigue from York. There's not much support in the runs.
Yeah, a few one-up carries as Peach now brings us out to the right-hand side. Boots a ball from Partington, and she's not done a bad job there of just getting it over the head of Danny McGifford, who picks it up, and huge shot goes in. Look at Savannah Andre, who's gone hunting. Andrade, she's found her. And just when it looked like that speed was going to get Danny McGifford out of trouble, York now have an opportunity to pin Saints in.
I take it back about York's kicking. They've seemed to let everyone have a go in this first half. But here's that shot that we were talking about. Wow.
Yeah, Savannah Andrade didn't miss. St Helens now marching upfield with Shani Kraut, ball in hand. She'll play the ball just short of the 40. This is the last. The kick will come in from Gaskin. Looks to just try and split Kershaw and Partington, and does a good job of it. A little bit of indecision between winger and full back for York. Partington eventually does go back, clean the ball up, and has done a decent job of getting back to the 30.
Yeah, I think the back three just need a bit more chat there. She'll keep doing that every day of the week. We'll fade Gaskin as long as you let us, so they need to make sure that they deal with that from now on.
So York with the ball on their own 40. Peach brings it up to the line, and then short drop-off ball to Lisa Parker, who stopped on halfway, where she'll play the ball, and then Peach again jumps out from dummy half, now brings us out to the left-hand side. Ball goes backwards, Moxon cleans up, she stopped just short of the 40. 21 minutes gone here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. St Helens 0, York Valkyrie 0. And what's been a really quick game of rugby league as Sexton plays the ball. Partington again on kicking duties, turns Danny McGifford around, and this time it will just take a couple too many rotations and go out for a 7-tackle set, and Danny McGifford is getting things underway straight away. Returns up to the 30-metre mark.
Brilliant first run to tee up the 6 again set.
So Saints again looking to try and work their way out of their own territory. Shani Crowell, the next cab off the rank, looks to force her way up to the 40-metre mark. Stopped for just a couple of metres gain. Faye Gaskin is in at acting half. She brings us out to Cunningham, who had Williams on her shoulder, but chooses to just keep it herself up towards halfway. Gaskin again drifts in. And this time it's Williams at first receiver, up into York real estate. Gaskin back in at half back, and there could be some space out wide for McGifford, who just cuts back in. Leclerc's done a really good job there, actually, of tracking back and dealing with the threat of Danny McGifford. This is the last. Gaskin puts that one into space. Kershaw does really well, takes that on the full, and then returns up to the 25 metres. And there's a real kind of cut and thrust about this game now as both teams work through their sets.
I think we've got to give a special mention to Shani Crowell. She's got through some workload today, and I've noticed that Vicky Whitfield's made her way to the sideline, so I'm sure she'll be thankful when her rest finally comes.
Well, regular viewers of the Sportsman's Women's Super League coverage will have seen Vicky Whitfield make a huge impact off the bench throughout the season. Round 1 against your lead side, of course, Caitlin, and then in that pulsating draw against Wigan a few weeks ago. Real impact from the interchange bench for St Helens as York work their way up towards the 40. Peach at dummy half. Again, it's Partington on kicking duties. It's a high one for Phoebe Hook to deal with, which she does slightly unconventionally, but it is safe. You'll know from experience, sometimes those ones can be a bit awkward.
Yeah, if you don't feel like your legs are there, you do all sort of positions to try and get there. So maybe that was just one of them, but she did well to take the ball in.
So Lucy McCall plays the ball on the 40-metre mark.
2, 3,
Still, Vicky Whitfield prowls the touchline for her introduction into this game. He's Cunningham up towards the line. Oh, stopped. Pretty unceremoniously there, the England captain. She'll play the ball just inside York's half. Here's Crowell again looking for more work and finding some decent progress, but then losing the ball. But losing the ball due to a strip.
Yeah, there were hands all over that. I don't see how they can contest it. I think what I want to note from the defensive set from York there, the A's are very, very tight, so I'm surprised that Saints aren't using it a slight bit more, but they are getting up and out really well.
Yeah, one of those, isn't it, where you plead innocence, but as you say, hands all over the ball. Is this going to make touch? It does just about. Emma Kershaw did everything she could to try and keep that ball in play. Couldn't quite. And in the end, she's inadvertently helped it on. But they will come back to the 10-metre mark, which is pretty much where it would have gone out anyway. Just needed couple more centimetres on her tiptoes there, Emma Kershaw, to keep that one in the field of play. But what an opportunity this is then for St Helens. A full set, 10 metres away from the York line. And Shally Crowell, play one, will just try and break through the front door. Gets the offload away to Mottershead, who immediately recycles to Naomi Williams, who stopped pretty much against the post protector. Shape on both sides of the ruck. They'll come left. Gaskin, short ball from her to Cunningham. Cunningham almost works her way through, but York's covering defence is good to begin with, and then we're going to come back for another penalty.
I think he's giving it for a late hit on Faye Gaskin there.
Well, he's just looking down to the St Helens dugout to see what the plan is. There are two fingers in the air from the coaching staff, so you would suspect that they will give this ball to Faye Gaskin to just nudge over the first points of the afternoon.
I think as we start to see these little penalties from York, I think that just shows that it's getting really tiring. We're watching them go back a bit slower, a bit more sluggish, and I think that's when errors start to happen.
It's just if you're committed to that tackle.
So Vicky Whitfield is onto the field of play. Shally Crowell has come off, and just have a look at her on this near side. She's just holding the back of her leg as if she's got a little bit of a complaint, a little bit of a pull maybe. Interesting to see if that develops into anything more throughout the afternoon, or if we'll see her again. It's about the time of the game that you would expect that interchange anyway, so maybe it's what was planned, and maybe she is okay, just getting a little bit of deep heat.
Starting again, isn't it?
But Faye Gaskin, meanwhile, with the job of opening the scoring for the afternoon. 27 minutes into this game here at the Totally Wicked. Oh, she's hit the post. It's bounced back, but this could be a result from St Helens' perspective. Vicky Whitfield mops up, so they don't get the two, but maybe an opportunity for four for St Helens. Mottershead out to the right-hand side is Lucy McComb. Not often you see Faye Gaskin miss from that sort of range, but it could yet turn out to be a blessing in disguise as Harris brings us out to the left-hand side. Here's Gaskin, looks to apply some width. Cover defence from York is good as they try and shepherd that ball towards the sideline. Now they'll come right. Williams back up over the 10. Decent carry from her to get Saints back on the front foot. It just petered out a little bit over on that left edge. Harris up to the line. Now looks to put some width on to Cunningham. Phoebe Hook now with the ball in hand, but she's got a lot of work to do, and York's defence holds firm, so this is the last. One more opportunity in this set for St Helens. Harris, short ball to Whitfield, who'll just try and bang the door down. Looks to try and get an offload away, but it falls into the hands of Savannah Andrade, and York will take a lot of confidence from the way they've defended that set out.
Yeah, I've got to say, I was looking at the York defence quite a few times, and they did get the numbers wrong quite a few times. So their scramble D has been immense during that set, so a big pat on the back. We now see Rhiannon Marshall making her way onto the field, so she'll be directing from now on.
So York on the front foot, and straight away Rhiannon Marshall into the action. She'll play the ball about 8 metres away from the halfway line. Oh, big shot goes in from Vicky Whitfield, making her presence felt after just coming off the bench.
The battle of the 8, let's see how that carries on.
And here's Marshall, who will take on the kicking duties. It's a high one for Hook to deal with this time. It's pretty routine for the St Helens winger. 13 tries and 11 appearances this season. Phoebe Hook, a rugby union convert who's really slotted into the St Helens side and made that number 2 jersey her own. Leah Burke on the sideline, of course, for Saints. Another long-term injury for her. There was some whispers that we might see her before the end of the season as Whitfield looks to eat up a few more metres towards the 40, and Cunningham screaming for the ball on the short side. She'll keep it in hand herself, but she's made progress up towards the 30-metre mark. last tackle. Gaskin in position for the kick. It's a little bit slow out of the play the ball from Mottershead, but that is a tall kick. Moxon does really well underneath it. Former teammate of yours, of course, Tara Moxon, who looked very tidy out there so far.
Yeah, she's definitely doing what she used to. She was a winger for us, so she should be safe as houses under those balls.
And then a penalty for York. Just too much going on the floor. Whitfield and Mottershead, the culprits on that occasion for St Helens. So after surviving a few sets on their line, York with an opportunity to try and clear the lines. Marshall just making sure that her teammates stay behind the ball. And that one does make touch. So York up into St Helens territory.
And that's what I thought had happened when Rhiannon Marshall came onto the pitch. They'd get a bit more field possession with kicks from penalties.
Shona Hoyle flying in with Rhiannon Marshall there. 31 minutes played, 0-0 on the scoreboard, but doesn't reflect the game that we've had. A real pace to it this afternoon. Two teams that know each other so well, of course. Plenty of history between these two sides. St Helens top of the Betfred Women's Super League table, but York flying high after that win against Wigan, and big contact on Moxon from Phoebe Hook. Dagger in at acting half, brings us out to Zoe Hornby, who goes up over the 20 and a little bit further. Good carry from Hornby, stays at her feet as well, so gets a decent play the ball for her troubles. And Liv Wood tries to slice through. Here's Peet, brings us out to the left-hand side to Dagger. Evie Sexton trying to step through the line, a product of the York under-19 system. St Helens see that set out. So the wait for points goes on, but Saints have got a big job to do here coming off their own line.
Yeah, Saints' defence there was really good. A lot of scramble D, especially on this left side. The numbers that they had compared to York's attack was, I think they were quite outnumbered. So let's see how the forwards take them out here.
One, move! Go on.
So here comes Whitfield, just running at Andrade and Wood, who do a decent job of limiting the progress of the England international. Mottershead goes herself and through the line, Casey Mottershead. She'll play the ball 30 metres away. There's a York player down in backfield. I think it might be Jodie Dagger. I can just see some fluorescent boots. In fact, you know, it is Liv Wood. Williams plays the ball. Gaskin kicks from the 40-metre mark, looks to try and find the gap between Lukuru and Partington. It's Peace Lukuru who gets the ball and returns. Good return, actually. I've been very impressed with Peace Lukuru, both in defence and with the way that she's returned from deep and got involved in yardage plays.
Yeah, I think a big pat on the back to all of the York backs. They're definitely doing the job and making sure that the forwards aren't exhausted with this tough battle. What I'm noticing about Faye Gaskin is they're making sure the ball goes to an edge, so the pendulum is just the full-back and the winger, so it's so much easier to split them.
So Peach going herself from dummy half. Fantastic to see Sinead Peach, a former Women of Steel, of course, back in action. Missed last season to have a baby, but back for the Valkyrie, and a big stint from her in the first 34 minutes of this game.
Ready, play the ball. 50s.
Yeah, she's a great example of what women can go through having a child and coming back. I know York have looked after her in that respect, so definitely leading the way for other females to continue to do so.
So Saints will get us back on the way after that touch finder. It's going to be Gaskin and Mottershead who get us moving again from the 20-metre mark. Shona Hoyle, first carry of the set. She's up just short of the 30. Clock counting down on the first half here. Still yet to see our first points of the afternoon. Faye Gaskin, of course, hitting the post with a penalty, probably the closest either team have got to opening the scoring, as Whitfield, great short ball from her to Emily Rudge. Rudge will play the ball just inside Valkyrie territory. Gaskin out to Cunningham, Cunningham to Rotherham.
Another penalty.
Going to be a penalty for a late shot here. It's Cunningham who was left on the floor. Just making her feelings felt as well, the England captain. She's not happy about that one.
Come on.
You can just see in the back of the shot, Cunningham taken out after the pass.
I've also just realised that after going down twice, maybe 3 times, Liv Wood's making her way off the field. Fantastic stint, and we've noticed that Ellie Williamson's come on in her place.
Yeah, it was Liv Wood who was just receiving treatment a few minutes ago.
For me, it's front on contact. She doesn't take to ground, and there's no attempt to drop in her height. But for me, it's the low force, which is the mitigation. We're 10 minutes. She did!
So Ollie Salmon with a decision to make here, and he looks like he's going to have a word at least with Sinead Peet
late,
and Edie Sexton.
But there is a
to see if the card comes out of his pocket.
There's a low level of force, so it's
no disputing it was a late shot, and Edie Sexton will sit down for 10 minutes. The yellow card comes out. I don't think on the evidence of that replay she can have too many complaints about that.
I think this is also the referee's way of getting the game back under control, coming together. And we just see it there. The ball's given and she's gone straight in. There's no dip at all.
Showed her. Oh, she's approached her.
So a few interchanges going on below us. It's like Caitlin Casey on for Katie Motter's head, who has got through a lot of work at dummy half in the first 36 minutes of this game.
The second late hit off the ball there from York, so I think Ollie Salmon, the referee, is just trying to get back in control and show who's in charge.
Just having a word with Jodie Cunningham as well, who was understandably not too happy with that. Made her feelings clear.
Discipline, York! Caitlin, when you're ready.
Not too often you see her
stay on top of this for the rest of the
lose her cool. So Saints 20 metres away from the York line as we get ever closer to half-time. Perfect opportunity to try and get points on the board for the first time this afternoon. Gaskin, here's Cunningham again. It's a short ball to Rudge, who can't take it with her. And a massive missed opportunity for St Helens. And
where do we want it, York?
Well, there's been a few occasions this afternoon where York's defence has been very good, but on that occasion it's just St Helens overplayed.
Yeah, I do think it's probably a case of it's getting a bit niggly as well. I think both teams need to realise the job at hand, and it's still 0-0. They need to make sure that they're putting themselves on the front foot, whereas at the moment I don't think either team are doing that because they're getting indulged in all the nitty-gritty.
You just obviously don't need to lose.
So it will be a York scrum.
Keep the discipline. 4 minutes to go. Binding.
About 25 metres away from their own line.
Out. Play on.
Partington into the line from full-back to try and make some progress. She'll play the ball to Peach, who brings us down the short side, and big contact going in on Moxon, who gets up, plays the ball to Dagger. Dagger to Peach. This is Zoe Hornby, who takes 3 St Helens defenders to bring her down. Still not able to do so, in fact. She will eventually be held just short of halfway. Ellie Williamson stepping into the line in that scrum cap. Stopped just short of the 40. Shouts for a forward pass from the Saints fans below us, but the referee just gets on with the game.
I think we need to see a bit more of that. Tamsin Renouf is at half-back, and I think that's the first time that edge has really got the ball in good ball, so it'd be good to see a bit more of that.
Yeah, I was just thinking then, I'm not sure we've said Tamsin Renouf's name many times this afternoon as Rotherham picks up the kick and returns to the 20.
Onside, hold. Go on.
Casey at dummy half brings us out to the right-hand side. Hoyle up over the 30-metre mark.
Onside. 2.
And now it'll be Whitfield who runs at Peach and Hornby, eventually brought down.
Vicky, find your space. Stand and play, Vicky.
Dead centre. Left-hand side to Cunningham.
4, move Savannah!
Approaching the halfway mark as we approach half-time in this game. Here's Gaskin. Harris just steps back inside away from Dagger, still going. Zoe Harris still going up the middle. Zoe Harris needs support, doesn't come. So she is brought down, and this is the last. And then there's going to be, in fact, we're going to come back for a knock on. I thought for a second Ollie Salmon was going to give a penalty for interference on the floor, but he has in fact ruled Zoe Harris lost control of the ball, and it's going to be a York scrum on their own 40-metre mark.
Fantastic run there by Zoe. If anything, I'd challenge Saints to be a bit more supportive with a few people coming back, but unfortunately an error came on the back of it.
We'll just see it again.
Feet this side, please.
It's one of those decisions that I'm glad I'm not making.
To me, that is a knock-on.
Heads fully in, please. Bind it properly.
So York with the scrum on their own 40 as
when you're ready.
The seconds count down. Probably worth pointing out at this stage, that clock on your screen, just a guide, not hooked up to the referee's watch, but I don't think we'll be too far away from the hooter.
Go on.
As Williamson brings the ball up over the halfway mark. Peach to Marshall. Marshall just a flick ball back inside to Partington, who makes some decent progress.
Hold. 3, play on.
Peach again. Brings us right. Ball back inside to Marshall on this occasion, who still going around, and Marshall eventually stopped 27 metres away from the St Helens line. So potentially a scoring opportunity here for York as they do come to the right-hand side. Renouf stopped on the 20.
Leave it.
And I think we're going to come back for a York penalty. There's a few little discussions going on around the field between the two teams, just starting to erupt a little bit out there.
I think the referee will be waiting for half-time, hoping that it calms down both teams, but high tackle given just there from Gaskin on Renouf.
So it will be a York penalty, certainly not unkickable. Be interesting to see if they do go for the points this close to half-time. Emily Rudge still down, just receiving some treatment. Kicking tee is out in the hands of Rhiannon Marshall, so that would suggest that York are going to try and knock the penalty over.
Just an interesting observation from me. Ellie Williamson typically in the halves for the side this year. I think she's come on in the middles, maybe at 13, or as she came on to replace Liv Wood. So different role for her today.
So Rudge back on her feet, and again, Ollie Salmon just checking in with his touch judge.
Minute. Get in. Jodie.
And he's going to call both captains across here.
So the first incident was Faye Gaskin has pulled from the head down to the ground. For me, that's just a penalty. Obviously, we've got a report from the touch judge that there's potential crusher tackle, so we're going to stick the incident on report and we'll review it after the game. So the first incident is going to be a penalty to you. Just for the nature of the injury, that's all. He got too.
So a potential crusher tackle goes on report from Ollie Salmon, but we are going to stick with the penalty for the initial high shot. So an opportunity.
Like kick-off, time you run.
For Rhiannon Marshall to open the scoring.
I typically say that I'd back her from here, but don't want to jinx anything like we did with
Well,
Faye.
we said that about Faye, exactly, yeah. Many a good kicker has fallen to the commentator's curse over the years. Looks a decent strike. Is it on target? It is. So we do have our first points
30 seconds.
of the afternoon. York Valkyrie going to a 2-0 lead, courtesy of the boot of Rhiannon Marshall. And this is the kind of game where 2 points, drop goal, anything like that, you feel like it's going to be very, very significant.
Yeah, I feel like if that penalty wasn't given, then York would have certainly looked for that drop goal.
So I guess he goes short. And Phoebe Hook did get there, but unable to bring it in cleanly. So Moxon tidying up again. She's done a lot of that this afternoon. As Williamson jumps out from dummy half up towards the 40.
Move now, Zoe up the square. Hold.
Peach in and acting half. Out to Dagger. Oh, big shot goes in. Vicky Whitfield again. Flying out of the line. And that will be that for the first 40 minutes. Here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. Low scoring, but plenty to talk about, plenty to look at for both head coaches, or both sets of coaching staff. St Helens jog off below us, followed by the Valkyrie, but in really interesting 40 minutes of rugby league that, without having loads of clear-cut chances. We've been looking left and right a lot.
Yeah, I do think that the teams have done very well, especially with the interchanges coming on, with getting that ball to each end of the field. It's getting a bit fiery, which is quite enjoyable to watch. There's a lot of passion going into this game, and I'm really looking forward to the second half.
Yeah, both teams getting stuck into each other. So no tries to bring you on this highlights reel, but still a few things to have a look at as we have a look at the break. Here we can just see. Well, that's the one that we thought might just lead St Helens on to scoring. And then Kershaw unable to keep it in, and then this is another one of those that, bit of a 50-50 call. Tamsin Renouf probably getting as close as anyone has in this half to getting over the line before being brought down, and then the kick from Rhiannon Marshall from that penalty. And as you said, it was just all getting a little bit spiky before that point, wasn't it? Both teams making sure that they stood their ground, so to speak. So at the break, Caitlin, St Helens 2-0 down to the York Valkyrie here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. I'd be very interested to see what the message and what the start of this second half is like.
Yeah, for me, they've got to stay out of the kerfuffle. There's a lot of she said this and all that kind of stuff. I think they need to get back to the game plan and let the playing do the talking, and I think that'll be the message at half-time. Run hard, tackle hard, and keep your mouth shut.
It's a half-time here in St Helens. 2-0 to the reigning Betfred Women's Super League champions, the York Valkyrie. 40 more minutes on the way. Stay with us, and of course stay with us for the rest of the season. There has never been a better time to be a fan of Women's Rugby League. Between ourselves and Sky Sports, we will be giving you a game around all the way through to the grand final.
Gaskin goes in, Gaskin scores again.
And Rhiannon Marshall scores. York hit back.
Ball back on the inside again as Kira Bennett just sidesteps her way in. York collect it, chance for Partington, gets it down. What a kick from Faye Gaskin, that is world class. Look what it means to them. Backs with a sidestep, and they're in again. This is mesmerising stuff from the Wigan Warriors.
We know we've got the two best teams from the competition.
The history makers, the first women's team to retain their title.
Martin, what's today been all about?
Today is about publicising and drawing attention to what's happening at the stadium behind me on the 25th of October. The first Ashes test. The Ashes are back in Britain for the first time in a long time, and yeah, it's a great opportunity for Sean Wayne and the English team to right some wrongs and to get one over on the Aussies.
And how big this Ashes series be for rugby league?
I think it's massive. It's a great opportunity to get rugby league back on the back pages, back in the psyche of the British sporting public. And it's a chance for some of the current team to write their legacy and create memories for themselves and the British public.
This Australian side are the best in the world, aren't they?
Yes, Sean Wayne and the English team, they've won Test series against Tonga, against Samoa, both teams laden with NRL players, but we know it's the big one to play against Australia at Wembley. Nothing gets bigger than that for a rugby league player.
Of course, you've played the Australians here as well. You know what it's all about, don't you?
Yeah, I've played against the Australians here. I've won against the Australians. I've created my legacy at this stadium, but it's a chance for another generation to write their legacy and to put themselves in the hearts of the British sporting public. We've got the likes of Julian December, Jack Wellesby, and many others who have got an opportunity here to create a legacy.
George, I bet you never thought you'd kick a ball here at Tower Bridge.
No, I didn't. It's brilliant actually. I can't believe how busy it is. I know London's known for being busy, but so many people down here, a couple of schools down here, so trying to get amongst it, trying to grow the game, and the 100 days from the Ashes.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Look, we love rugby league, but we're bringing the game to London, aren't we?
Yeah, that's what I think we're striving to do. We want to tap into new areas, get new generations involved, and I think that's what we're trying to do today. We're down in London. We've done a couple of tours so far. I'm enjoying it. I feel like a little bit of a tourist. But no, it's been good so far, and that's what we're trying to do.
And it's a long time since we've had a series against the Aussies, isn't it?
It's brilliant. I was a kid last time it happened. Showing my age a little bit there. But yeah, I'm 39. And it's never been done for a long, long time, for 20 odd years. So some of those plays we're really looking forward to. We know it doesn't come around often. Hopefully we can replicate it a little bit more. But we're playing against the best nation in the world, and they have been for a long, long time.
And how proud are you going to be walking out that first test at Wembley as well?
It'll be brilliant. It'll be a proud day for myself, my family, and for the group of players. Like I say, we know it's not been common, so whoever's in that shirt, I've got to make the most of it. I always say playing for England is the pinnacle, but what you just named there, playing against Australia at Wembley, I think that's the pinnacle. That's the top of the top, and if that doesn't get you up for it, then we're in the wrong job.
Gaskin goes it, and Gaskin scores again.
And Ryan Marshall scores. York hit back.
Ball back on the inside again as Kira Bennett just sidesteps her way in. York collects it. Chance for Partington. Gets it down. What a kick from Faye Gaskin. That is world class. Look what it means to them. Backs with a sidestep. And there again. This is mesmerising stuff from the Wigan Warriors.
We know we've got the two best teams from the competition.
The history makers, the first women's team to retain their title.
Yeah, what a time to be a rugby league fan. All that action here on the Sportsman and Sky Sports from the Betfred Women's Super League. And as we've just seen, heard from Martin Afai, the Ashes on the horizon. Cannot wait for that. The Aussies will be in town at Wembley, Everton and Headingley. But here at the Totally Wicked Stadium, it is York Valkyrie who hold the slenderest of leads against our home team, St Helens, in the Betfred Women's Super League. Just that Rhiannon Marshall penalty late on in the first half, the difference between the two sides. And Caitlin B. York on the march on the left. This is on a knife edge.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a good game to watch from an impartial, and I think both teams are doing very hard hits, hard runs, and it's what you want consistently for 40 minutes, and I think that's what they've done.
Sure, you'll be watching on Wigan as well, watching on at home, just enjoying these two teams knocking 10 bells out of each other up the middle, because it has been a real firefight, hasn't it, in the forwards especially.
Yeah, there's been a few times where Vicky Whitfield and Liv Wood have gone head-to-head, and additionally a few others, Shauna Hoyle with Rhiannon Marshall, so I think that it will get really feisty, but that's what we want to see. We want to see a competitive game, and so far it certainly has been. So
the try is to bring you at the breaks, but you get the feeling They're probably not too far away. Both teams putting pressure on the opposition try line throughout. Have a look at some of the flash points from the first 40 minutes. And a few 50-50 kind of penalty calls, and both teams unable to make too much of it. Gaskin, of course, hitting the post at the first point scoring opportunity. This is perhaps the closest we've come to a try. Tara Moxon going over the line and does get the original offload backwards, but just rolling forwards before Emma Kershaw was able to jump on it. Kershaw in action again there, just trying to keep that penalty in play, eventually just nudging it on a few more metres. And this one, a decision against Zoe Harris, just deemed to have knocked the ball on in the tackle. But it's these kind of fine margins that you just feel this game might come down to in 40 or so minutes time. And this, the penalty that led to the opening of the scoring, the high shot originally from Gaskin, and then the crusher, potential crusher, going on report from Ollie Seven, our referee, and Rhiannon Marshall making no mistake from the kicking tee to give us this 2-0 scoreline at the break. So not loads in the way of points, but plenty to talk about in terms of the way that that first half panned out. And as we've touched on a couple of times, there's a real heat to this game. Fantastic crowd on the near side below us here at the Totally Wicked. They've been injecting themselves into this as well. Right on top of the action here at St Helens. It's difficult, I suppose. The obvious thing, Caitlin, would be to say that York will be the happier of the two teams because they're in the lead, but it's very difficult to split really how the two coaches will be seeing this.
Yeah, I do believe from knowing both coaches that in the dressing rooms they probably won't be quite happy. They'll be happy with how they've scrambled, but necessarily within the attack, I think that both teams have had plenty of opportunity that they've not really utilised. So I think that'll be the message in the dressing rooms.
As we get into this game, we saw that kind of first bench rotation 20-25 minutes into the half. It does feel like interchanges are going to have a huge part to play this afternoon.
Yeah, I said it at the start. I think it'll be a very forward-dominant game, and I think that's exactly how it's happening. Good thing that both sides have probably some of the best forwards in the league, and we're seeing them go to head, which is an interesting watch.
Both teams as well. It's interesting, probably not the... Well, it's two, not reserve, interchange fullbacks in place, and we've seen both teams sort of targeting that in terms of the kicking game. Emily Partington, a winger by trade, but she's done a good job on her old stomping ground, hasn't she, dealing with that kicking game of Harris and Gaskin.
Yeah, she's certainly getting peppered today, but like I said a few times, I'm really noticing that Saints are taking it to an edge, so either winger can't drop, so there's just one winger and the fullback, so it's so much easier to split, and they're definitely taking advantage of that. So Ebony's work so far has been pretty good given the circumstances. And
it's something that we've only really had glimpses of. There's a lot of speed out on the respective edges on both sides of the ball. It might just... feels like as this game goes on, it might just open up a little bit, and we could see some of those flying machines come into play a bit more. Yeah, we usually see Phoebe Hook on a lot of end of plays, and she's not seemed to be that much involved. The shape's usually been thrown to the Saints' left, so it might be a change of play once they come out and she can get her hands on the ball a little bit more. So not far away from the start of the second half here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. A great day of rugby league, of course. No need to move from your armchair as we hand over to Sky Sports for Men's Super League action throughout the afternoon. As both teams come back out onto the field in front of us. A big job on their hands. Two crucial points, because let's be very, very clear, we are in a title race. And it could go any which way. St Helens in pole position on the league table at the moment. Wigan breathing down their neck. York not far away at all. So big 2 points on the line here. Your Leeds Rhino side, Caitlin, certainly not out of the picture either. We're in for a fascinating end to this Betfred Women's Super League season. York, of course, trying to defend their title. It's going to be Rhiannon Marshall who gets us back underway. So York kicking from left to right in their classic black and gold kit to the famous white and red V of St Helens. Marshall puts boot to ball. It's Gaskin who originally had to try and deal with it. In the end, it goes over her head, and McGifford picks it up and gives it to Williams, who return up towards the 15-metre mark. She's forced back. That ball's come loose. And the referee's just having a conversation with his touch judge on this near side. He's given a knock on. It will be York Valkyrie ball. And what a start to the second half of the away side.
Yeah, I think you can immediately tell the message as soon as they came out. It's a deep kick to pin them, and that's certainly what they've done, and they've forced the error. So let's see what they do with it here, because we've not seen them get much joy from playing out wide.
We'll just have a look at it again. It was Williams who made the carry. Welcoming party of 3 York defenders, 4 in fact, as Peace Lakuru got in, and yeah, just unable to keep control of the ball. So here come York. Andrade, strong carry, gets the offload away to Dagger. Dagger trying to step away from St Helens defenders. So here's Peach, 3 metres away from the St Helens line. Still knocking on the door, the Valkyrie. Peach again in at dummy half. Ball out to Rhiannon Marshall, who steps away from Gaskin, gets the ball out to the right-hand side. Could be numbers on this edge. Here's Peace Lakuru. Can she find the space? Takes on Emily Rudge, who does a decent job. The offload's away to Peach. St Helens just doing a good job of getting across, stopping York in their tracks. Still tackles in hand. Held up, says the referee.
The ball was dead, then she's removed it.
Townsend Renouf under that pile of bodies, who thought she'd scored, but Ollie Salmon sends her back 10 metres to get us back underway. So Peach out to Marshall, dummies, and then steps back inside. Whitfield.
5! Move now! On your line, hold.
The tackle.
Hold.
Peach again. This time comes left. Could be some width on offer here from your perspective, Williamson. Could be numbers here. Here goes Moxon. Straightens up. Stopped well again. St Helens doing a good job in defence. And that will be the turnover. That was the last. And fantastic defence from Saints.
Just that. Saints did absolutely fantastic with their scramble D. York threw a lot at them. I think more off the cuff than probably structured. So well done to Saints. They definitely dug in deep there.
Big job on their hands, though, to get themselves out from their own line. York with an opportunity to try and pin St Helens in here, who are up to the 12-metre mark. It's a slow play the ball. Casey brings us out to Vicky Whitfield, who targets 2 York defenders and tries to go through the middle of them, eventually stops. Casey again in at dummy half. She'll come out to Cunningham. I'll have a crack at the line herself.
Ball, move! Just behind the line, hold, hold, go for.
So Casey brings us left. This time it's Emily Rudge, who jumps past one tackle and then is eventually wrapped up.
That was the right decision there, to give it to the left-hand side for Saints. Unfortunately, it should have gone to a half-back. They had a massive overlap there.
So Gaskin puts boot to ball on the last. That kick will drop just in front of Partington, who drifts across, brings it in safely, and there might be some space to try and run at here for the York fullback. In the end, she just runs straight into 2 St Helens defenders.
Find your space, go on.
Dagger.
Jodie made the 10.
She brings us out to the left-hand side. Vicky Whitfield doing a lot of work in defence yet again.
Move now! Shoulder up and square, hold, hold. Go 2.
Dagger again at acting half, out to Moxon. Moxon just pins her ears back and runs at Zoe Harris, who does the job defensively. Here's Dagger, Peach, Hornby, up over the 40.
Keelan! Find your space, Zoe! Hold, hold. Find your space! Hold, hold. Go 4.
And York back up to their full complement. Evie Sexton back onto the field.
5.
After that sin bin.
Tanzim.
It's gone up into the air, and there's going to be a penalty here. She just puts her hands up.
Out the ball.
Lisa Parker, who got the timing of that one slightly wrong.
Time off.
Yeah, she knew straight away, didn't she? A bit of a rookie error, giving Saints a bit of field position here.
Signed from Sheffield Eagles this season after playing a few games for York on dual reg. So it will be St Helens who can march themselves upfield with the penalty.
When you ready? Go. One.
And up towards the 40. Casey in at dummy half. Brings us out to the right-hand side to Williams, who will keep that ball in hand herself. Look to try and force her way up over halfway, which she does.
Onside, hold, hold.
Options left and right. It's right, they'll come to Whitfield. Strong carry from Whitfield, looking to try and force a quick play the ball here. Finds her front. Good progress made there from the England prop. Out they come now to Gaskin, who brings us back on the inside to Cunningham. Cunningham keeps the ball in hand and tries to find a gap that isn't there on that occasion.
Go 4.
So Casey brings us short side again. Here's Zoe Harris. She's got Rotherham out the back, but chooses a flat ball to Shona Hoyle instead.
5! Oh no! Steps here, keep coming. Hold.
This is the last, so an attacking kick on the way, you would think. They come short side. Harris puts boot to ball.
Still
That's
5.
been
Still 5.
deflected back, not played at, says the referee, so still the
5.
last. Gaskin puts a high one up in the air and too much distance on it, so it's going to be a 7-tackle set. And what an opportunity this is for York, because Partington gets on with things straight away, immediately up over the 30.
Move, 0.
Well, an awful end to that set, really, from a St Helens perspective.
Yeah, I think that's the field possession, though, from St Helens were really good, and I think that's what they need to keep on doing when they're given the opportunity, such as a penalty that York gave them in their half.
Cunningham flying in on Savannah Andrade, who rides the contact really well, keeps going up towards the 40-metre mark, so it is York on the front foot. Hornby, she runs into Cunningham and Casey.
3.
Lisa Parker is receiving treatment in back play on this near side, so York essentially down to 12 temporarily as Dagger brings it to Sexton, who's up over the 30-metre mark. Parker rejoins the back line. Back up to a full complement then.
4.
Hornby again, almost through the line, needs support. Does eventually come from Sinead Peach, but just gave St Helens enough time to react. This is the last. Out they come towards this near side. Big ball over the top from Renouf. Peace Lakuru bumps off a couple of tackles and gets the offload away. She's done really well there. Here's Andrade. Andrade could be through. Savannah Andrade scores the first try of the afternoon. Brushes 3 defenders away as if they weren't there. And York stretch their lead out to 6 points.
I think Savannah definitely deserves that. Within the first half, she was consistent and her line of runs were hard. She deserves her England call-up this year. She's played for England before, but back in it this year, and that's definitely going to keep her place in the squad if she carries on doing stuff like that.
Well, they came out to this right-hand side, didn't they? And it was Peace Lakuru who managed to get her arm free, get the offload away, reset the play. Here's the ball over the top from Renouf, missing out 2 players.
You got a minute and 20 anyway.
I think a special mention from McClure there. She's done that quite a number of times on that edge. She managed to come back in and get that offload, and Savannah saw that white line and she made sure that she got there. She's that's a typical Savannah try, is that. Well done.
It was the gap between Casey and Cunningham, wasn't it? Cunningham had perhaps just drifted out, expecting the pass, and Andrade slicing through to score. So York out to a 6-point lead, which Rhiannon Marshall could turn into 8 very shortly. A relatively central kick. I think we're just waiting for a ball, aren't we?
Whilst you're here, wait for a ball. Obviously,
I think we are finally getting one onto the field.
I think Savannah threw it up in excitement, and here it is again.
We don't want players. You want to play, to play rugby?
Yeah, great finish
Been a good game
from
so far.
Savannah Andrade, England international, as you mentioned, signed from Bradford for the Valkyrie. Been a big part of their success over the last few years. So Marshall with the opportunity to convert Andrade's try, and 8 points in the context of this game would feel like quite a big margin.
Yeah, we thought initially at the start that the 2 was going to be so important. It probably will be going into the further bit of the second half, but I back her to get this one, definitely. I was just about to say this is the quietest the stand's been.
Taking a time over this one, Marshall. Strikes it well, converts, so York do push out to an 8-0 lead. And gives the crowd the shush as she runs back.
We've seen Shani Crowell come back on, and Vicky Whitfield making her way off the sidelines. What a fantastic stint.
So just some word down from the sideline. Our man on the ground, the message from St Helens at the break was keep the defensive efforts and the chances will come from a York perspective. Lindsay Amford asked for more of the same, tighten up around the ruck. And she'll be very pleased with what the first 10 minutes of this half have brought for her team. They are out to an 8-0 lead, courtesy of that Savannah Andrade try. And St Helens rolling their bench. Shani Crowell back onto the field, as is Erin McDonald. It's Vicky Whitfield and Naomi Williams who have made way.
Caitlin, hold. Go on, good work. 2. Move
So
now,
York
Jodie!
Ball in hand, up over the 40-metre mark. Peach in at dummy half. Marshall just trying to bump car her way through that St Helens line. It's Crowell and Rudge eventually who do bring her down. Peach will bring us out to the right-hand side to try scorer Andrade, who fancies another piece of the action.
Move! Onside hold.
Just short of the halfway line, the Valkyrie. Peach brings us out to the left. Williamson, big shot goes in.
5!
This is the last, so they will be kicking
Onside.
from inside their own half. Out they come to Marshall.
Outside.
Just a agricultural boot to ball, but does manage to turn Rotherham around. And now she'll look to try and find a gap between the defenders, but it's closed up pretty quickly. This feels like a big set for St Helens.
Yeah, I think that try definitely has given York some energy. That the runs that they were doing, quick play the balls, they're definitely doing the job. That big hit there, I think York have definitely ramped up, and that's the little encouragement that they needed in that try.
So here's Hoyle, she'll play the ball
Work on. Find your space,
about 7 metres away from the halfway line. Erin McDonald onto the field.
4. Savannah, straight out.
Bring the ball into York territory. She'll play the ball just inside the York half. Here's Shani Crowell back into the game.
5.
She's up towards the 40. This is the last, so it won't be an attacking kick from a St Helens perspective, but an opportunity to try and pin York into a part of the field that we've not really seen them in much in this second half. It goes high, it's going to come down. Williamson can't bring it in cleanly, neither can Partington. It's a repeat set for St Helens, so what was a slightly ordinary kick has come up with a real result from a Saints perspective, and here is Gaskin going herself up over the 10. Renewed energy inside the Totally Wicked Stadium for St Helens.
Hold. Go on.
Casey. Shani Crowell has a go from just a few metres away. Stop just short.
Find your space, Santel. Find it, just find
She'll play the ball from just a few blades of grass away from the try line. Short ball to Rudge. Can she roll her way through? She's over the line. Has she got it down? Yes, she has. St Helens hit back. Emily Rudge from short range. And Caitlin, we've got a game on hands.
Absolutely. I think that, we've got some coming together as well.
Afters as well. There's been a bit of that this afternoon.
Zoe, down the 10, please.
Yeah, I do think that kick wasn't intentional. It was good kick pressure from York on Faye Gaskin there, but they reap the reward for making sure that they get down the field there.
Just having a look at those pictures, it's Emily Partington with her former teammates. I don't know if she's instigator or peacemaker in the middle of that, but certainly renewing acquaintances with her former teammates. The St Helens are on the board, courtesy of Emily Rudge, and it was the Partington error actually comes off the boot of Ellie Williamson, which just wrong foots Emily Partington. Zoe Harris on the spot to mop it up, and a couple of plays later, Emily Rudge crashes over to cut the deficit.
I think York are expecting a bit of a shift out wide to Saints' right, and they'll just keep peppering the line like they did, and Emily Rudge ran a really good line.
So no mistake from Gaskin on this occasion, brushes the conversion over, cuts the deficit back to 2 points.
Well, I've just seen Isabel Bibby and Liv will come on. Uzi Bibby is going on a hooker, and she is so quick around the ruck. St Helens need to make sure that their ears are nice and tight to not allow her to make those quick and easy meters.
So, you've just scored a try. Don't need players running in. I don't need you putting signals like that.
So the temperature on this game goes up again. Zoe Harris is off for St Helens, so
Okay, that's fine.
I saw it.
we'll just see what
Chantal. I'm not
comes out of that. Shani Crow talking to the referee. There's a lot going on here.
Just have a word with your players, be a captain, please.
We are trying to keep you up to speed with all the interchanges and everything that's happening in front of us, but there's been a burst of action. Both teams getting stuck into each other. Zoe Hornby is off.
I think a well-deserved substitution there. She's gone
worked
through a lot
hard,
of
hasn't
work.
she? And as you mentioned, Peach taking her first rest as well. Marshall will get us back underway. Now the referee is talking to Georgie Dagger, probably just trying to calm this game down a little bit.
Then I don't need players running in. I understand that Saints have caused it, but I don't need your players.
It's feisty out there. There's a lot on the line.
I've had a word with them. I'm having a word with you. Let's deal with it, yeah? No more, please.
And the crowd as well on this near side, injecting themselves into the piece as well.
When you're ready.
So we will be back underway. Marshall puts boot to ball, kicks deep right where Gaskin is underneath it, and here comes Shani Crowell, who started this carry in the car park and tries to bowl her way through a few York defenders, but Tamsin Renouf stands up to it. And now Rudge has a go. 4 York defenders flying in.
York's message here has clearly been to win it back and limit the possession, and by my God, they're doing that.
Yeah, it's gone up a few notches, hasn't it? This game, spinal tap all the way to 11 in the Betfred Women's Super League as Saints come out to the right-hand side. Cunningham forced back. Cunningham might be Williams, actually. Shona Hoyle, sorry. And here's Erin McDonald up towards the 20. Hand in the air from the referee. This is the last, so the kick will come from St Helens. I'm sure they'll look to target Partington again after that error. That's a bit of a messy one. He's taking a bounce. The referee says that's come forwards off the legs of Savannah Andrade. It's all just got a little bit chaotic out there. Williamson up towards halfway.
Move, Caitlin up a square. Onside, hold, go 2.
So Bivy brings us out to the left-hand side.
Yeah, the backs are back in now for their carries. I think they're really trying to make sure that their forwards are fit enough to keep Saints in their half when it comes to the turnover.
Well, here goes Bibby for the first time. Straight into the St Helens counterpart, Mottershead. Decent speed on the play of the ball as well. So York have got a bit of wind in their sails here as Agnes Wood is up towards the 20.
5.
Bibby now brings us short side to Williamson, who put this one high for McGifford to deal with, which she does. Can she find some space to work? No, she can't. Really good kick pressure from the Valkyrie.
A very good catch there from Danny McGifford as well. We've already mentioned it, but she's not originally a rugby player. She comes from being a triathlete, so she's made the transition her own and made her international appearance this year for Wales. So she's having a very good year.
Well, if she does get any open space, she'll be gone. She's very, very quick. But that's probably been
4, move Georgie! Work, hold.
What this game is like. We've not seen a huge amount of ball out in these wide areas. I did have a look at the pitch this morning when we got down. I'm just wondering if maybe they've made it slightly narrower here at the Totally Wicked Stadium as Gaskin puts boot to ball, which bounces a few times in front of Partington, who eventually does bring it in safely. She's got Peace Lacura on her shoulder, but decides to just take it in herself.
Onside, hold. Go on.
And now it is Lacura who looks to try and take on Gaskin and McGifford. Shrugs McGifford off. She looks a real handful, doesn't she, when she carries.
Onside, take steps, Caitlin, hold.
Yeah, I think that's one of her first carries out of yardage, and I'd like to see more than that. Look at what she's just done.
Shot goes in. Erin McDonald flying out of the line to make the hit on Parker, and York get it on with it, moving us on up over the 40.
Emma, find your space. Onside,
Bibby
Kate, hold.
can pick either side to come here. She comes right. Liv Wood back onto the field. She's up over the 30. This is the last, so one more play to try and make something happen for the Valkyrie. Williamson puts boot to ball. It comes out to the right-hand side. It's just going to bounce into touch safely.
I can only feel like a message has been given to keep peppering McGifford when all that space was over on the left-hand side for York. Quite a questionable decision there, but Saints are in possession.
So Saints up over the 30.
Keep working, hold.
And as the clock ticks on, it does feel like this game is going to be decided on a moment. Maybe of brilliance, maybe of madness. We'll wait to find out, but we are certainly going the distance here at the Totally Wicked Stadium as McDonald is almost through for Saints, eventually brought down just short of halfway.
3, good talk, keep this up, come on.
Motter's head.
3,
Crowell, Rotherham now into the back line.
4,
I've just noticed that Caitlin Casey has come on to replace Zoe Harris in the halves.
4.
Yeah, Harris just limped off after the try. I can only assume that that is an injury concern. I'm not sure why else you would rotate your halves, unless it is a tactical decision. If the two St Helens head coaches have seen something. Kick goes in, looks to try and turn Kershaw around, takes a really difficult bounce, eventually pops up relatively safely.
1, move Jodie!
Erin McDonald, who has made a couple of big efforts. Just coming onto the field. What's the referee going to say here? Penalty to the York Valkyrie for pulling the ball away. Jodie Cunningham's not too happy about it, but it will be Valkyrie ball.
Yeah, I think that's the total opposite of what Saints needed. They haven't had much possession down in that part of the field in this half, so they'll be looking to get it back.
Definitely a hand in there from Cunningham. Dispute that it was just a loose carry, but the referee has given the penalty, and it is York now who bring us up towards the halfway line.
3, move now, Chantal! Onside, hold.
Slow play the ball. So it will be a standing start for Ellie Williamson to try and get things moving again. Brings us back onto the inside to Partington, who's up to the 40-metre mark.
Just an extra second that route, bit quicker, please.
Bibby brings us left to Dagger. Dagger now does look for that whip, but Moxon leaves the ball on the floor. And it's now Saints back in possession with Katie Motter's head ducking under a tackle. She's forced back over the 40-metre mark.
0! Onside, hold.
St Helens with ball in hand, but plenty of field to try and make up here as they look to get themselves ahead in this game for the first time. Gaskin brings us left to Crowell. She's up over halfway. Takes 3 York defenders to eventually stop her, but stop her they do.
Chantal, find your space. Go 2.
Gaskin. Rudge, big shot goes in on Emily Rudge. Saints try scorer this afternoon, but makes some bonus meters with the strong leg push.
Hold.
Motter's head in at dummy half. Gaskin. Cunningham. She'll look to perhaps put some whip onto it. Hoyle nearly through. She'll play the ball on the 30-metre mark. Cunningham again. Short ball to Rotherham. Can Rotherham poke her nose through a gap? Not quite. This is the last. It's an attacking platform for Saints to kick from. Cunningham just stabs it through, but in the end, another fairly disappointing end to the set. It could be getting even worse. Agnes Wood flying away there, up over halfway. Brilliant kick return from the loose forward. Here's Bibby in now at dummy half.
Yeah, I said as soon as Isabel Bibby came on that she'd take any opportunity to go, and she saw a few retrieving defenders there, and that were every opportunity for her.
That pass was over Georgie Daggett's head. She does eventually go and mop it up, but that's just slightly taken the sting out of things after that breakaway. Here's Williamson on the left-hand side looking to try and get things moving again. She's met by two St Helens defenders.
4, move Shauna, hold. Go 4.
Bibby brings us out to the right-hand side.
5.
Liv Wood,
move.
pretty central here as she plays the ball on last tackle. Bibby out to Williamson. Chip kick to put McGifford under some pressure, but she's done well, Danny McGifford, and now she looks to find some space. But Andrade, as she has been all afternoon, right on top.
Safe as ours. She's had a really good game today, Danny McGifford. Been very safe under those balls and making sure that she makes as many metres as she can from the retrieval.
So Gaskin at dummy half brings us to the right-hand side. Hook is off her wing.
Move! Keep coming. 3.
Cunningham. Just to try and break through. Ooh, now there's going to be a penalty for a high shot. It looked just like almost possibly a head-on-head collision between Jodie Cunningham and Georgie Daggett. There was a collective intake of breath around the ground as they came together. We'll see it again on the replay. Oh, it's just an arm around the neck, isn't it? Georgie Daggett getting that one all wrong. Cunningham is still down, but it looks like it's cramp rather than any concern about a head injury, which is probably good news. I'm not sure I'd want cramp either, but looks like she's going to be okay to continue.
That's the threat that Jodie prevails, though. But she's got the hands to be able to tip that ball to Lucy McComb and take it in, and that's where it left Georgie Daggett in two minds there, and yeah, giving up the error.
So about 14 minutes left in this game. We are none the wiser as to who will be taking those 2 points home with them. York at the moment with the slenderest of leads. You just feel like we're not quite done. Something is going to happen. Who's going to break this game wide open. So penalty to St Helens after the high shot. Gaskin looks for the sideline and just about finds it. She plays she loses dangerously, doesn't she, with these penalties, Gaskin? She looks for the extra distance, but there's a few times where she's very, very close to missing touch.
Well, that risk was definitely worth it. That kick was very good, the furthest of the day, so they need to keep them coming.
Yeah, we'll give Saints a platform from the 30-metre mark to try and knock the York Valkyrie door down.
When you're ready, go, play on.
We said this game was going to be tight. It's certainly been that. St Helens now with a golden opportunity to try and get themselves ahead for the first time this afternoon. Casey plays the ball to Mottershead. Gaskin, Crow. Shani Kroll off over the 20-metre mark. She'll play the ball. She's slowed down a bit there by York. She'll eventually play the ball to Mottershead, to Cunningham.
Clear.
Rotherham out the back, good line. Oh, great ankle
what
tap.
A tackle. It's not done yet.
Still going.
3. Move now! Line. 3.
It's Lucy McCollum who was nearly through. Here's Cunningham, short ball. Crowd can't bring it with her.
Leave it now, leave it now. Leave
And
it
York
now.
survive.
Leave it now. Sit knock on shoulder. Where do you want it? 50s.
Well, Lucy McCollum must have thought
Scrum, yes.
that she was racing through there to score, only to have her ankles taken out from underneath her. It's a great line. The ball from Rotherham. She splits the two defenders, and I think it's Kershaw who just does enough to pull the rug from underneath the feet of Lucy McCollum.
I think from playing with shape, that's the closest Saints have looked to scoring. So fantastic line from Lucy McComb, and I'm sure we'll see much more of it in this second half.
It's a York's job now. They used to work their way out from underneath their own posts. Bibby.
2, move now!
Moxon will play the ball.
2.
Dagger. Good progress this from York in this exit set, getting themselves out of trouble.
Move now! Hold.
It looks like they've rotated again, and there is a knock-on at the play the ball.
Find space. You've not found your space there. Santo. 20.
So it looks like Peach back onto the field. Bibby sits back down.
There's nothing I can do about that.
I've got to say, I think the referees ref this game really, really well, given especially the fiery element of the game. So a big pat on the back so far.
He's not had an easy job, particularly, has he, this afternoon? Ollie Salmon, he's had a lot of crowd control out there to get through. Both teams bang up for this, as you'd expect.
Come on, sir, time off. Everybody, come on. Let's get going. You're not fully
10
in.
minutes or so left.
Heads in, kid. When you're in it, out.
For someone to make themselves a hero this afternoon. Here's Cunningham, Rotherham, hook into the line. Again, Kershaw does really well. Her wing defence, edge defence, been very, very good this afternoon.
Tara Moxon needs to watch herself on that edge. She's getting very drawn into Rebecca Rotherham out the back, and I think Emma Kershaw's having to overwork, but she's doing very well.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? We didn't see a huge amount of Rotherham stepping into the line for probably the first 50, 60 minutes of this game, and all of a sudden she's done it twice. They were looking for the space of Danny McGifford on that outside. It's come down off the hand of Makuru, so it is a repeat set for Saints. Gaskin. She'll just play a short ball to rush. Savannah Andrade goes hunting and hits her target. Here comes Motter's head out to the right-hand side. McDonald could be through. Andrade does well to cover. St Helens creeping forwards.
What an impact she's made from coming onto the field. Erin McDonald.
Yeah, she's been a real influence, hasn't she, since coming off the bench in the second half. Crow will play the ball to Motter's head, who brings us out to Cunningham, who looks like she's playing about 3 positions at the same time at the moment. There's space on the right-hand side. Phoebe Hook's going to score in the corner. Saints hit the front with 10 minutes to go. And after all the effort to bang the door down in the middle, the space is out wide for Phoebe Hook to score.
I think we saw that coming, haven't we? It's taken Saints a while to get back into that groove of shipping it out to that edge, and we've been saying that we've been seeing Tara Moxon shooting off that line, and they've clearly noticed that. Rebecca Rotherham's got that ball away beautifully, and it's been a beautiful score in the corner. Well done, Phoebe Hook.
Well, it's a big kick to try and stretch this lead from 2 to 4, but it is a lead for St Helens for the first time this afternoon, and what a time to get your noses in front in a game like this. Not much time left for York to respond as we see the ball going through the hands again, and Phoebe Hook put into space. She won't have too many easier finishes than that.
Keep on top of it, that's all.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of miscommunication there from Dagger and Moxon. They've still got time to rectify that now. But first for the kick.
Sophie Gaskin, who hit the post from fairly front on in the first half. It would be very much like her to just brush this one from the sideline straight over.
Yeah.
Hush around the ground.
I've been on the other end of that.
Up she steps. Decent strike. Looks on target, but doesn't quite have the legs. So it will stay 10 points to 8 in favour of St Helens as the crowd lifts below us here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. The league leaders in front for the first time this afternoon.
And we spoke about before the game the importance of the top 4 and trying to get a home draw. And this is why, if you can hear on the screens, St Helens fans are getting behind them really, really well. And I've not heard much of York, so that's the kind of advantage it can bring.
Just as we see that finish again from Phoebe Hook. So Lindsay Anfield's York side, the reigning Betfred Women's Super League champions for the first time this afternoon, are chasing the game. 7 minutes or so left to try and hit back. And Zoe Hornby gets this back underway.
One,
Big kick chase. Shani Crowell carrying that one from deep again, but Peace the Kuru, who's really impressed me this afternoon, there to make the tackle. Saints up towards the 30-metre mark.
Movement! Zoe Square, hold. Hold. Can you play, Emily?
Just a stoppage here.
Can you play it?
For a potential injury.
It's just a process. It's a process.
Emily Rudge, who's feeling the effects of that tackle. She looks in some pain, the former England captain.
It was a very good tackle, lots of numbers in, and made sure that she got onto her back, so it wouldn't surprise me if it's a ribs or just being winded.
Pointed to her ribs.
Lots of numbers in there, and it must be the land on the floor.
Yeah, underneath a pile of bodies. Still down, Emily Rudge, so
7.5.
some cause for concern here from a St Helens perspective. Scored their first try of the afternoon, of course, from close range.
I'm over, thank you.
A third of the season. You see it from the reverse angle. And you see the way that she's forced down, and yeah, it's just bodies on top, isn't it, that have probably caused the injury.
Yeah, nothing in it. Hope she's all right. I do believe that this is probably the break that both sides need.
It comes at an interesting point, doesn't it, this breather?
Absolutely. It's been a very intense game, and maybe we'll see a big pick-up within the last 7-ish minutes.
Big opportunity for both coaches to just get some messages on as well. As Emily Rudge is helped up, she still looks in some strife down there. I'd be surprised if we see her continue, and the universal hand signal for substitution is given, so looks like Naomi Williams is going to be thrown back into the fray. As Emily Rudge walks off a little gingerly, straight down the tunnel as well to receive some treatment. So it will be Crowell who plays the ball to get us back underway. Moss's head to McDonald, who will just take on the challenge of 4 York defenders, force her back.
Onside, hold.
A wall of black. They're doing really well to make sure they're winning the ruck here at York.
You would think that St Helens here will just revert to type and keep things pretty central. No need for them to try and overplay unless they want to roll the dice and try and put this game beyond all doubt. 6 or so minutes left to play. That clock on your screen just a guide, but there can't be too much longer left in this game for York to try and get something back. They're going to get the ball back here. Gaskin puts the kick over the top. It's turned Kershaw around, bobbling towards the sideline through the legs of
that kick chase.
Emily Partington, and hooks after her. She does really well, Phoebe Hook. Great kick chase. Gets out to Emily Partington, brings her down, and Saints have York exactly where they want them as Lakuru manages to get the ball away, but the referee says it's gone forwards. So Saints do have an opportunity to try and bury this game.
I said that we needed that little bit of time for both teams to come together and really get the game plan and their energy back, and I think from the last 2 sets that we've seen, that's definitely been the case. We'll have to see how York defend here, I think, with a lot of aggression, I'm sure.
It's a huge shot. It's Caitlin Casey rocks Peace Lakuru.
Time off.
Causes the knock on, and now St Helens team, 13 metres or so away from the York try line, have a golden opportunity to score the try that may take this game out of reach for York. Here's Rotherham, who's really grown into this game in the second half. She stopped on the 18-metre mark. Moss's head. Crowell. She's up towards the 10, Shani Crowell. She stopped eventually, looks to try and get a quick play the ball. She's found her front, so out there comes to the right-hand side to Williams, who will just put the ball under her arm and try and force her way over from 10 metres out. Eventually stopped and forced back. Shape on both sides. It's left that they come to Cunningham. Could be an overlap here if they can get the ball through. Hands again, and they do! Almost the carbon copy. Phoebe Hook in the scores in the corner.
And St Helens go out to a 6-point lead with the kick to come. And it is a late burst from the Saints.
Again, fantastic from Saints. We've been saying it and saying it again. It's taken them a while to get into this game with putting the ball through hands. And I said at half-time we've not seen much of Phoebe Hook on the end of players on the edge. And I did think that would be the message at half-time to bring it back out. So this is typically how Saints play. I think it starts here. Naomi Williams taking 4 of them on. And it's very slow ruck, so they should have really got the numbers, but not many set. They're not pushing each other out, and it's an easy ball out from Caitlin Casey to out to a winger, and a superb finish. Well done.
Yeah, that try in the corner pushes St Helens out to a 6-point lead. She wasn't a million miles away, Faye Gaskin, from very similar position 5 or so minutes ago. This one even more important to push that advantage out to 8. Probably feels like a good time to remind you that we've already had 2 draws on the Sportsman in the Betfred Women's Super League this season. Hush around the Totally Wicked. Big moment in this game. Faye Gaskin taking her time. Steps up. Looks good. Is good. What a kick that is from the sideline. Faye Gaskin finds her radar. And Saints go out to a 16-point-to-8 advantage.
The roar from the stadium just then. Almost as big as the try, if not more so actually than the try. But look at how much it means to them there. We're seeing a lot of demanding around the field from the St Helens player to make sure that they get the ball on the full here. Zoe Harris on the tee again.
Well, sure, the short kickoff is on the way.
Tell me, Ron. Tell me when you're ready.
Hornby with the responsibility of trying it. It is just a little bunt off the tee, and Caitlin Casey reads it perfectly and gets onto the ball. And first job done from a Saints perspective. And now McDonald will carry from deep up towards halfway.
2, movement!
Moss's head comes left.
3, move!
Very simple equation from a St Helens perspective now. Just keep ball in hand. Get through the tackles, see this game out. York need to try and force an error, force something out of the Saints. St Helens won 16-12 in the reverse fixture earlier on in the season. Very similar pattern to this game, as Gaskin will put the kick across field. Kershaw underneath it, she spilt it. Now I think there's going to be a penalty here. There is. Could be for a number of reasons. Could be for the offside, but Phoebe Hook was definitely pulled back off the ball as well. Yeah.
Knocked on by Emma, and then she's pulled her back. Pulled Phoebe back. No, it's gone backwards, but then she's pulled her back. She's pulled back out the ball.
Brilliant kick pressure there. We've said that it'll continue to go down that edge, especially when it's working. Emma Kershaw. A good attempt, but unfortunately close but no cigar.
So Saints with ball in hand, 10 metres away from the York line. A full set to play with, and you think they will just work their way through it as we approach full time.
Onside.
In a game where Saints didn't get on the scoreboard until halfway through the second half. As Cunningham tries to... That might have been Boyle trying to bash her way over. She'll play the ball to Motter's head. Out to Gaskin. Could be numbers on this left-hand side if they can get the ball through hands. McGifford just has to step back inside, find some space. Here goes Danny McGifford, stopped eventually by
on your line.
2 York defenders, Wood and Peach. Motter's head stabs one through. It's bouncing about all over the place. And we're going to come back for another St Helens penalty.
The ball's been played out, the foot's been stuck out, and then you've made an attempt to catch it.
Look at Shelley Kroll's face, she's enjoying this.
Penalty for offside into the red on the clock, so we will not be far away from the end of this game as
I'm not having
Ollie
any of
Salmon
that.
has another chat with the
Ball's
York
clear,
player.
That's the decision. I'm not having you saying, which one are you shagging? You're off.
Oh, and there's a card as well, a red card. Something must have been said.
Got a minute and 30.
Typically, if it's a red, it's a direct comment towards the ref. We've had Ollie Salmon ref leads quite a few times, and he's a very lenient ref, so it must have been something.
Well, it's Jodie Peet, the York captain, who has been given marching orders.
It's a minute and 30. You get a minute and 20. So time's already started, so you got a minute and 20. There's a minute and 20 left.
So a slightly sour end to this game that's been played at a real feisty temperament throughout.
I'll let you know when you've got 30 seconds left.
Saint supporters giving Sinead a bit of grief on this sideline.
Difficult to know exactly what has gone on from our vantage point, but she is off down the tunnel, Sinead Peach. And in the meantime, Faye Gaskin has the opportunity to add 2 more points and stretch this out to a 10-point lead, and you would think this will be virtually the last act of the game, a game that has been right in the balance up until the last 4 or 5 minutes. 2 tries from Phoebe Hook, enough to keep Saints' unbeaten Betfred Women's Super League record intact as Gaskin brushes them over. They will stay top of the table.
Caitlin,
they've had to work for it.
2 plays, it's just over 10 seconds.
The Craig Richards and Eric Hartman will be very, very satisfied with what they've seen in the last 20 minutes or so.
I think that's the response that they'd have wanted from having that conversation in the changing rooms. I've definitely seen a change to the way that Saints are playing. They didn't play how they typically would, and they've gone back to their process and look at how it's got them.
So there can't be much time left at all in this game. Caitlin, I'm going to have to ask you to have a think about your Betfred player of the match.
When you're in it.
A tricky one, I think, actually, today.
I'll keep thinking.
Well, I'll give you a couple of tackles in this set, and then we'll get it off you.
One, move! Onside, keep coming, hold. Hold!
So Mottershead
Wait for the foot.
in at acting half, brings us out to Shani Kroll into Andrade. So that will be that. St Helens victorious here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. Caitlin, please, your Betfred player of the match.
I think it's been a very tough one to pick today. Both teams have definitely put the bodies on the line. For me, I think that the impact in the second half with the quick hands is going to go to Rebecca Rotherham.
So back in the side for St Helens, and Rebecca Rotherham is the Betfred player of the match here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. A big part to play in those 2 late Phoebe Hook tries that have seen St Helens over the line. But it is the Saints that go marching on at the top of the Betfred Women's Super League.
She's come up
their
to
10th win of the campaign. 2 draws in there
I can't do anything
as well.
I appreciate
But they have worked very, very hard this afternoon to get the 2 points. And as we've said a few times, we are set up beautifully for the end of this season, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you look at before the game and we was talking about how confident York would be feeling coming into this game after beating Wigan last week. And I think that this has just probably blown a lot of people's expectations out of the water, especially given the first half. So a very good second half, and I think very worthy winners from that second half.
So Saints the victors as we see the celebrations down on the field. A game that was played at quite a fiery temperament. Both teams getting stuck into each other, the fans getting involved here as well at the Totally Wicked Stadium. And you get the feeling that these 2 teams may just meet again down the line in either the playoffs or maybe even the grand final. It was, of course, last season's grand final. So St Helens for the second time this season avenging that defeat. So the two teams shake hands after what was a fiery contest. Let's then recap how that game unfolded. Seems like a long time ago now, that first half, but St Helens tryless, pointless in the first 40. A late flourish seeing them over the line, and you have to feel from a York perspective that after that Wigan win last week, they would have felt 15 minutes, 20 minutes left in this game that they were still in control and still able to go out and win this. They'll be disappointed with the way that they faded away towards the end.
Yeah, I think, like you said, they'd have thought that, and I think that was the direction that we were going towards. They was very direct, and they were winning a lot of the rucks. But like I mentioned, Saints went back to process, they went back to doing what they do best and shipping that ball. I think Tara Moxon just needed to go a bit lower there. It's probably a bit of experience.
That one again, that's the penalty that was nearly kept in the first half. This is Zoe Harris showing you just how physical it was, especially on the ground. There was a lot of wrestle going on. The only points of the first 40 minutes coming from the boot of Rihanna Marshall, and then this from Savannah Andrade. Fantastic effort after a great offload from Peace Okuru.
And here, this is where they go back to process, and she did very well to get that ball down considering the people around her. And this is Jodie taking it to the line, and a fantastic ball out from player of the match, Rebecca Rotherham.
And then just a few minutes later, almost carbon copy. This is the held up effort. But again, through the hands and Rotherham coming into the line. And those two late Phoebe hook tries, almost identical in the finish. But that conversion from the sideline, followed up by that penalty from Faye Gaskin, enough to just push it beyond the reach of the York Valkyrie, who will head back across the Pennines, just needing to reset a little bit as we approach the back end of the season. We'll be back in a few weeks' time, of course, to see the Valkyrie in action again when they travel to Headingley. Caitlin, are you hoping to be back in action for that one?
I hope so. Obviously, it depends on coach's discretion, and I do think it'll be, after watching that game, a really good contest of rugby league heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, what an end to the season we have, and between ourselves and our friends at Sky Sports, you'll be able to watch a game from every round all the way through to the grand final. But here at the Totally Wicked Stadium, with Saints that have come out on top, we can head down pitch side to Kevin, who's with our player of the match, Rebecca Rotherham.
Congratulations, Rebecca, on a player of the match performance. How was it out there today?
It was a tough game out there today. You know, York are a big physical team, and we had to try and match that. But yeah, it was a good game. But yeah, it was hard. It
was a different game to the one last week.
Yeah, definitely. We knew that coming in, and obviously we'd watched bits of the York Wigan game last week, so we knew what they were about. And I don't think really people expected them to go and turn Wigan over with the way they've been performing. So we knew what we were up against, and I think we matched their energy.
Yeah, you mentioned then about like two different teams. Again, you seemed like two different teams in this game. The first half compared to the second half. What was it that the coaches said to you at half time?
They just told us to stay in the grind. We knew this game wasn't going to be a walkover. Just like stick to your processes and get to the end of your sets and try and end them in a positive way.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Rebecca. I'll let you get back to your team and celebrate the win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Rebecca Rotherham, what a performance from her. A real statement as well, with a few games left in the season for her to make a stake for that number 1 jersey, that full-back jersey. So, big afternoon for her. Really nice the way that she came into the line. We were just speaking off air, Caitlin. It was a difficult one for you to choose the player of the match this afternoon. A lot of efforts on both sides of the ball. I think the forward packs on both sides, Caitlin, put in a huge effort today, and a lot of that game was played between those central tram lines.
Yeah, like you said, we've just said off air that I would have really struggled even if it was in York's favour. It was just a fantastic game all the way throughout from forwards, and the backs carried a really big stint as well for this forward heavy game. So yeah, really tough one today, but that's the kind of games that you want to watch when everyone's performing. There's no one being relied on and everyone's doing their job efficiently, and you can certainly say that was done today by both teams.
So we can head back pitch side to Kevin, who was with one of the victorious head coaches of St Helens, Derek Hartman.
A physical game there, Derek, from both teams. Where do you feel that you guys won that game?
I think we were just patient. We knew we weren't going to be winning the first 20 minutes. We knew we had to play the long game, and more than our girls who were patient, and when they had the chance, they executed.
Like you said, it was a patient game. The game next week, not so patient. Surely it's not going to need much getting up for against the arch rivals Wigan.
No, and if it does, then we're in the wrong place. We're going to cherish tonight. You know, we've just come off the back of a great win tonight, and then we'll worry about next week tomorrow.
Those two tough games back to back. Enjoy tonight. Good luck next week, Derek. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
There's Derek Hartman, a happy man after that win. A man of few words, but I'm sure he'll get into that changing room. And Lindsay Anfield just making her way over as well to give us her perspective on that game. I'm sure she'll be disappointed with the result. Lots of positives to take out of it as well. And after the highs of beating Wigan last weekend, they've fallen here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. We can head down again. Lindsay Anfield is with Kevin.
Lindsay, thank you for joining me. Another close game today. Where do you think you guys lost that one today?
Oh, probably the last 15 minutes. I thought it was end to end. It was a great contest, wasn't it? Probably just a lapse of concentration for us, a couple of little errors, and they're the fine margins that obviously helped Saints win the game. But full credit to them, you know, the experience of them just grinding the sets out, kicking well. It shone through, but we'll learn a lot from that.
Like you said, the first half, like you said, the half-time scoreline showed the toughness of that game, I think. Next week you travel away to Barrow. You've got a long road trip to get up there. What's the preparation in the week going to be like?
Oh, it'll just probably be recovering this week now. You know, they've had 2 games in 6 days, 2 really tough games, and yeah, just try and recover and put in a good performance up in Barrow and fixing up a few things that we got wrong today.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
I'll let you get back to your team.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
So there we have it. Fantastic afternoon's entertainment here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. St Helens coming out on top, 18 points to 8 as they stay at the top of the Betfred Women's Super League. Don't forget, we will be back with more Betfred Women's Super League action in 2 weeks' time as Caitlin's Leeds Rhinos take on the York Valkyrie. Keep your eyes out, because you never know, we might even have something for you next weekend as well. Stay tuned. We'll have information on that out very shortly. Caitlin, I'll just come to you for final thoughts on that. Saints winners, a 10-point win in the end, but probably doesn't reflect how that game panned out.
No, I certainly don't think it does. I think that the game was very equal, and we said it plenty of times that it went end to end on almost all occasions. So a fantastic advert for rugby league, and like you said, I don't think the scoreline entirely shows how the game was played, but congratulations to Saints.
Well, great to have you with us for the afternoon. We'll see you at your place in a few weeks' time as Leeds take on York here on the Sportsman. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in the week, of course, as ever, for the last tackle. It's a Derby Day special this time around, ahead of a huge weekend in the men's and women's Betfred Super League competitions. But here at the Totally Wicked Stadium this afternoon, it's St Helens that have come out on top. They march on top of the table. We're getting ever closer to knockout football and that grand final. Thanks for joining us. We will see you very soon.